In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about how to buy oil on EasyEquities. So a lot of people have been asking me, how can they buy commodities-based assets? If you don't know what a commodity is, it's basically raw materials such as oil, gold, copper, silver, and the likes. And so in this video, I'll be specifically focusing on how to buy oil on EasyEquities, but I will show you how to buy oil on a couple of other platforms as well. So let's go. The way you buy oil on EasyEquities is that you're going to click Invest Now, and then the screen is going to load, and then you are going to click on ETNs. So ETN stands for Exchange Traded Fund. Basically, an ETN is a contract that tracks the price of another asset. In this case, we are going to be tracking the price of oil. So you run a search there, and then you can see there's the Standard Bank Brent Crude Oil ETN. So you click on it, and then it opens up the screen where you can buy this ETN. We can see right now the price at 19.13, and then we can just buy maybe one share of this particular ETN, and then buy now because the market is open. And just like that, we have invested in oil. But here's what we're doing technically. We are tracking the oil price because that's what this ETN does. So if we look at something more in depth here on TradingView, we got the Standard Bank Oil ETN here. And the ETN goes up and down in price based on what the oil price itself is doing, specifically the Brent crude oil price. But why would you want to invest in oil? So let's segue into that. First of all, let's understand what is oil. Crude oil, sometimes referred to as petroleum, is basically a black liquid, and I'm sure we all know that it's popularly used for energy. There are basically three ways that it's priced: something called WTI, West Texas Intermediate, which is the pricing for North America. Then there's Brent crude, which is what most of us in Africa and Europe use. And then there's Dubai, Oman, which is for the Middle East. That's how oil is priced. And then the things that oil is used for, popularly, oil is used for energy, and then oil byproducts are used for things like rubber, household products, cosmetics, and medicine. And then, of course, oil is also used for things like parts. So if you want to find out if something has oil, just check its label, and you'll probably find something like petroleum or oil in its label, and that will tell you that it's made from an oil byproduct. So oil has actually quite a lot of things that result in its demand besides energy. So why would you want to invest in oil? Well, renewable energy is here to stay, and it is the future of energy. However, from what we can see in terms of trends going forward, the world isn't yet that stable in regards to renewable power. So oil still has actually quite a lot of relevance, and that's something that you might want to look at. Now, when investing in oil, essentially what you are looking at is barrels produced versus barrels consumed and demanded. So oil, by the way, is priced per barrel. So a barrel is basically like a tub of oil. And so we say it's $73 a barrel, meaning just one tub of oil is $73. And so what we are always looking at is supply and demand, supply versus demand. So when the demand is high and the supply is low, the oil price moves up. And when the supply is high and the demand is low, the oil price moves down. And as an investor, that's really what you always want to be checking. Now, there's a few entities that are quite influential when it comes to the oil price. One of them is OPEC, which is the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries. You want to look at their reports and what they say about oil, because that's actually tells us a lot. So OPEC releases these monthly market reports about oil, which can really help us predict what is going to be happening in the oil market and in the energy market. And so if you're a disciplined investor, this is something you can read, and I promise you it will be worthwhile, especially with other assets that you might be interested in, because remember, oil is a major input cost for a lot of other types of businesses and industries. We got something here from the EIA, Global Oil Markets and Short-Term Energy Outlook, basically just telling us what are the predictions. We can see some predictions for Brent crude in terms of dollars per barrel. We can see something coming up and where they think it's going to land, and we can also see the production and demand. These are all the places that you would do research if you are someone who's interested in investing in oil. You want to find out which are the big producers, because this is what controls the supply side, right? So remember, supply versus demand. You want to know, what are those countries thinking about oil? Are they going to continue to actually try extract oil out the ground, or maybe they want to move away from it? Because that's going to tell us what might actually happen to the supply of oil. In fact, one of the popular predictions is that as the world regulates oil out of fashion, the supply is actually going to shrink, but the demand is actually going to spike, and that might actually push up the oil price. And so that's something that's key to check. So we got the United States here, we got Saudi Arabia, Russia, Canada, China, Iraq, United Arab Emirates. So these are all big oil producers. And so oil is something that's really key in the world. And so you want to check what it's actually doing, because it will help you see other industries and how they're going to do, especially those that have a direct input with energy. So those are the ways that you invest in oil on EasyEquities. It's just by the Standard Bank Brent Crude Oil ETN, but those are all the research sources that would say are very important for you to look at. The two ways to invest in oil basically is to use that ETN that I just shown you. And then the other way is to actually buy shares of oil companies. So that's another way. You could buy shares of BP, Chevron, or Royal Dutch Shell. These are oil producing companies. And so that would be another way for you to invest in oil. Of course, you can always directly buy an oil futures contract or a CFD that directly tracks the oil futures market. So via something like eToro, yeah, that's something that you might consider doing. And if you're a person who's interested in learning more and really understanding how all of this works, not just with things like oil and other commodities, but with also shares as well, and really know how to research with the process, take the guesswork out of investing, be a person who's very clear in terms of how they do things, I do offer mentorship, once-off payment of 1,299 rands for 15 sessions, and you get 12 months of guidance as well. So check in the links below, go to my website and sign up. Until then, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.